a fight that is gaining a little bit of momentum is, what about a rematch? In fact, what about an immediate rematch for Dominick Reyes? I wonder what you feel about this. There have been 2 rematches in Jon Jones's career. Obviously, the Gustafsson rematch and the Cormier rematch. In the first Gustafsson and Cormier fights, they both go the full 5 minutes. In the second Gustafsson and Cormier fights, he stops both of them inside of 3. Now, Cormier looked pretty good before he got stopped. It looked like he had made some adaptations too. Gustafsson, I don't think ever really got going, but the common denominator
he had injuries, he had a lot going on.
Right, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff happening, but the common denominator is it does not go well for folks that passed his prologue in terms of that. However, the difference between those two, Brian, and this situation is that there was a lot of time in between the first and second Cormier fight, and especially the first and second Gustafsson fight. Jon has never had an immediate rematch. That would be very much a first for him. So while he simply does better in rematches that he has had, what do you make of the idea of A, there being a rematch, and 2, if that's the case, knowing what we know about Jon, do you like Dominick's chances?
I felt it weird that this was not really a topic of conversation after the fight, whether it be in the cage or in the post-fight press conference afterwards. And it's not that I'm going to sit here and damn Dom Reyes for being humble and being like, well, it is what it is. But if I'm Dom Reyes in that spot, I'm maybe talking up a little bit more about how the judges got it wrong. Can't you see what I did out there? With that said, though, certainly Dom deserves it. I almost want to press pause and time out and no dong jokes, no over the top, prove how smart and angry we are. Can we just celebrate what happened on Saturday night? And that's this rare, pure moment in sports where somebody makes the leap right in front of you and goes to a level that you didn't think possible.
No. We said on this show last week, we knew he was capable of something.
There's a difference between saying Dom Reyes is a live dog. And when I say live dog, I think it's possible he could hurt Jon. It's possible he could have moments in there, Luke. There's a difference in my mind from doing that and saying he can win 3 rounds. He can make the great Jon Jones back up. He can cover up, get hurt. I didn't think that was possible. I didn't think his takedown defense after watching the Volkan Ozdemir fight was possible on that level. 5-round cardio. So I just want to celebrate for a moment.
Well, the 5-round cardio was the part that got him in trouble a little bit.
All right, but Jon Reyes' family is watching this. They're like, can we celebrate the guy?
No, you're right.
I mean, see somebody become something I didn't think they could was fantastic. And that fuels this next argument where I think UFC and Jon Jones have to get into a room. And they have to go, what are we doing with this heavyweight move? Because, Luke, Jon Jones is 32 now. He's not the same guy. I'm not going to submit or subscribe to any idea that he's washed or anything like that, but he's certainly not the same mid-20s attacking youthful guy. He's smarter and more efficient, and the younger athletes today are catching up with him to a degree. Dom Reyes has legitimate star championship potential right now, I believe, from this performance. Like, it was an eye-opener. It was a wake-up call. I think UFC has to figure out, do we want to take the chance of wasting that by giving him an immediate rematch, knowing that Jon's future is more likely at heavyweight than not? And with Jon being 32, when DC moved back up to heavyweight,
right,
I was just sort of like, damn, even pushing 40, the speed advantage that he has against those guys is mind-altering. I've wanted Jon to go to heavyweight for so long to really start the second chapter of his legacy, put the idea of being a GOAT way out where it can't be touched. He would age so gracefully, in my opinion, with that gap in speed from light heavyweight to heavyweight and just be able to flourish and shine. If you're UFC, do you want to basically say, hey, Jon, we'll think about the Adesanya thing. That'd be a nice time waster, right? But if not, you're going north because we got to find out right now how great Dom Reyes is. Let's go Dom Reyes against Maheta for the interim title, right? Like let's roll the dice in that direction. I don't think you gain much unless Jon's future is at 205 and he wants to stay there and he wants to be essentially this Bernard Hopkins start to the end of the career in one division, you know?
So here's the way I look at this. Here's what I don't want to see. I have no interest in Jon Jones versus the winner of Corey Anderson and Jan Blachowicz. Now, maybe the winner of Anthony Smith, Glover Teixeira, if it's Anthony, but if it's Glover's past 40, I just don't like his chances. I will say this, though. If Jon stays at 205, while the immediate fights other than a Dominick Reyes rematch don't interest me, to me it was clear on Saturday, you're right, he's not the same guy. What's keeping him really competitive in these fights is he has unbelievably good defense.
And chin.
And his chin is amazing, but he doesn't get hit that much. You'll go through it undissected or just look at the tape yourself in slow motion. He is so good. A lot of the shots you think land, they kind of graze. He's so good at rolling and covering. He's just got unbelievably great defense. And that is so valuable for him because that's going to keep him fresh over the long run, except to the body and to the legs. The key for me is that his offense has deteriorated. Now, understand what I'm saying. I am not saying it's fallen off a cliff. That's not the
When you use the word deterioration, I'm not here to challenge you.
Yeah.
I want you to explain it more. Is it more that the speed and explosiveness has slowed down, or is it mixed with the mentality of not wanting to walk people down and take chances?
All of the above. I think it's partly, I don't think he has the same wrestling ability that he once did, or the game has just caught up, right? Because he used to, when John used to want to take someone down, they went flat to their back. That's just not the case anymore. Partly that could be because he's smarter about reserving his energy and going the distance. Part of it could be that people are just better at stopping the takedowns, but here's the fact, it's just not as effective. The only fight that the wrestling was worse for John, I want to say, was the first Gustafsson fight where he went 1 for 11. This was 2 for 9. So this is historically one of his worst performances in terms of wrestling. And in terms of the striking, he's a bit of a rhythm guy. He has to kind of get going a little bit. These guys like Dom who can stick and move, they're terrible matchups for him in that particular regard if they can stay within their stamina. Here's my point. Dom wasn't the guy to do it on Saturday, whatever one's opinion. The Barbarians at 205 are at the gate, Brian Campbell. They are at the gate, and they are knocking. And I don't know if it's Corey Anderson. I don't know if it's Jan Blachowicz. In fact, I don't think that it is. But sooner or later, if he sticks around there, they're going to have his number. Because the truth is, as good as he has been, maybe the very best we've ever seen, if you fight tough guys long enough, eventually tough guys win. That is the thing you just cannot beat, especially as you age and especially as the game. Mike Bond from MMA Junkie told me, there's 5 hours and 40 minutes of footage on this guy. You can watch all of his development. Shogun may have lost, Rashad may have lost, Lyoto may have lost, Dominick Reyes may have lost, but each of them helped fill out the blueprint to see where this guy is at. Someone's going to put that all together. Maybe it's Dominick Reyes in the next fight. I wouldn't mind seeing it, but it's going to happen.